So, welcome to our special Halloween audio-only, super spooky in-between episode that we decided to do in honor of the Halloween holiday. In between filming our normal video segments, we thought we would do one of these and sort of talk about horror theme and scary theme games and to tie into the occasion.
Yeah, I mean, it's Halloween. It's almost Halloween. It's one of my favorite holidays, and what a better way to celebrate it than playing a spooky game.
Yeah, unfortunately, though, if you can't see our faces, it's going to be less scary. But but no, there's some fun stuff that's sort of Halloween and spooky specific. There's a lot of games and a lot of techniques within games that can really kind of tie into that holiday more than almost any other. So we figured we would share some thoughts and kick some ideas around and talk about it.
Yeah, and at any point you guys think that you have something to throw in or add, just make sure to leave it down in the comments and drop us a like if you like the video /podcast.
Yes, please. We need that sort of validation from you guys because, So anyway, let's dive right in. Halloween, boo, spooky, scary. It's all about ambiance. It's all about tone. It's all about vibe and feel.
I agree. The witching hour. I think what makes these games a little bit different, and this time different when you want to play games, is that sometimes you might throw on like a candle or two or try to use some tonal music during a game, but during these kinds of games, this is where you really want to really amp up the way that you set the scene, not only in-game, but in real life for your players.
Yeah, setting the tone puts your players in the right frame of mind, and nowhere is that more important than with a horror game, because let's face it, when you're sitting around a table, you're ostensibly having fun.
Yeah.
And your brain is not in scary, spooky, freaked out mode necessarily, so in order to help your players get into the vibe of the game, be able to role play more successfully and more authentically, you've got to sort of give them some of the set dressing to kind of get them in that frame of mind.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think a lot of people, well, I see that there's probably two different ways of thinking. One of the big ways of thinking about in this kind of game is that you want to be spooked. Like maybe not jump scare, I'm watching a scary movie, but we all kind of buy in as players that we want to play a game that has a little bit more edge to it, something that can make us, have to really think about it, if you know what I mean.
Well, sure, but I mean, there's many schools of thought with regard to scary, spooky thing. We all think of like scary movies as the perfect sort of example of that. But you've got the whole range of them, right? You've got sort of the campy, fun, silly ones,
Exactly.
And you've got the, oh my God, I've got to re-examine my life, that's terrible kind of ones.
Yeah.
And so you got to find your happy medium in there, and well, not so much a happy medium, but you've got to synchronize your intentions with a game to what your players' intentions are.
Yes.
Because, I mean, this means engaging with your players up front and talking with them and asking them what kind of game they want, what kind of feel do they want, find their comfort zone as well as your creative zone, right? Because you want to listen to people, because you can very easily skeeve people out, right?
Yep.
You don't want to give your players The Exorcist when they want Ghostbusters.
Exactly.
So, talk to them and make sure that it's subject appropriate, make sure it's age appropriate. I mean, you may have different ages of players, and you want to sort of set the tone so that it's not, really inappropriate. You want your game to feel creepy, but you don't want to be a creep. Yes. So, kind of find their comfort level.
Yeah. And I think after that, not only do you have to make sure that all your players are on board with the kind of game that you want to play, because, if they all want to go left and you want to go right, the game's going to fall apart. I mean, you could probably save it, but it's not. If you have two very different expectations, it's not going to be either way how you guys thought it was going to turn
Well,
out.
it's not going to be fun.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if you have to dumb down your game because your players don't want the level of blood, guts, and gore that you were intending, that sort of limits you creatively, and then it doesn't end up being fun for you to write and run a game. By the same token, if you cram that kind of stuff down their throats, literally or figuratively, depending on which horror imagery you're going for, then they're not going to have fun because they're going to be uncomfortable. They're going to be, just kind of not into the thing that they thought they were into.
Yeah. So I guess this gets to a nice break point where we can wonder if your characters are going to be the heroes or are they going to be the victims. Because I like how you use the Ghostbusters. I think of the Ghostbusters as the heroes.
Of course, yeah.
Whereas, I forget the name of the girl in The Exorcist, but I see her as a victim.
Yes, and also a perpetrator if you take her extra special sort of alternate personality on board. But yeah,
the people she's affecting are very much victims as well.
Yes.
So I think that's, once you figure out what kind of game your table is playing, it's easy to play the hero. We're so used to playing the heroes in our games.
Yep.
That if you really want to try to play a game that's more leaning towards you are the people that are not the heroes, aka the victims, you really have to kind of get into the mindset that you might not win, or you could die.
Well, and I guess that kind of goes to what we're saying about expectations, right? You're exactly right. Most games are designed to cast players as the protagonist, if not the outright heroes. They are exceptional, they are durable, they are tough, they are smart, they're effective, they're all these things that we all kind of aspire to and want to be. They're super versions of yourself in some fashion or another, right? So you get into that can be very fun, but it's not, it doesn't have that sense of foreboding or fear or creepiness that you may be going for with a horror themed game, other than the natural fear of potentially getting one of your favorite characters killed. I mean, that tension is always going to be in a game if depending on how it's being run. But yeah, you feel like for the most part your characters want to be where they are. They're doing they have a sense of agency. They're doing the thing that they want to do, that they're trained to do, that they're the best at, and you're putting them in those situations. Whereas in a horror game, like you said, if you're a victim, oftentimes a player, a character in any sort of horror story is thrown into a situation that they don't want to be in and shouldn't want to be in.
No. It's a good way. I know as a GM is basically just throw, like, let's say that you were going to play a game, and as the GM you're leading them down one path, but that's not actually. This is what I do.
Giving away your secrets, man.
You know, it's okay. I that's what I'm here for. But let's say that the mayor gives you your party an objective, and you're like, yeah, that's what we're gonna do, and then you blindside them with something that is completely not what they're prepared for, and that's
the bait and switch. I mean, look, nothing makes your players feel helpless than tricking them into volunteering for something that they ain't gonna get.
Yeah.
So that definitely can work in terms of a plot narrative.
It's definitely like one of those cliche tropes. I don't suggest doing it all the time, but it's really nice to every once in a while throw them off.
Well, sure, but I mean, and we can go back to sort of inspiration, right? Novels or horror novels or horror movies. One of the staples of a story narrative in those genres is surprise and misdirection, and the story isn't linear.
Yeah.
Right? It's not what the the characters that are in the story or the reader who's reading the story necessarily expects. In fact, if you can expect and anticipate what a horror story is going to be, it's not going to be very scary. You know where it's going.
It's not a good horror story.
Yeah. so yes, trickery, misdirection, all of those things definitely come to the fore. But one thing we should talk about is, while employing those tools, you need to make sure that they're appropriate to what you're doing. Like the game system, okay?
Yep.
You can't force a horror theme onto a game system that doesn't support it. Which is not to say that you can't adapt a horror story to almost any system.
Yeah.
But you have to make changes to it to make it support that. Likewise, again, going back to the theme about Exorcist versus Ghostbusters, like if you're doing a kind of a cartoony, sort of lighthearted system,
Yep.
that's perfectly fine for a Ghostbusters-y kind of spooky game, but probably not for the Exorcist style deep creep.
No, yeah. It's hard to get, I don't want to throw out any names, but there are some systems that really overpower the players, no matter where they are in the game, whether it's a leveled system or not. It's hard to really overwhelm and freak out a party if they are designed to be fighters. That's why I like some of these systems. Like I'm not very familiar with your White Wolf system that you like to play. I hate to keep on bringing up Cthulhu, but I mean those are all reluctant people.
Oh yeah, look, Cthulhu is sort of the classic archetypal powerlessness.
Yeah.
Right. Like you're taking away somebody's ability to cope with the situation almost by definition in a Cthulhu game.
Yeah. I don't really know of too many other game systems that do that, unless you do off the top of your head.
Oh yeah. Well, again, I don't want to harp on the White Wolf stuff too much. I've already made clear that that's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
and it is very horror themed. Most of the sort of games within that ecosystem are very horrific and deep foreboding. Whether you're dealing with vampires, werewolves, ghosts, the whole nine. So that system works well for giving you the tools to make your players victims if that's what you're going for, or at least put them in situations that stretch their abilities. But I think any of the generic systems too, or the generic kind of pejorative, the systems that are not subject specific, GURPS, for example.
Yep.
I mean, you can build almost that's what it was designed to do, was to give you the basic framework to build almost any kind of game. So that was perfectly fine for developing either the campy Ghostbusters-y type game or sort of the deep horror stuff. And then there's other games that were written that picked up on material. I mean, there was a game developed for speaking of Lovecraft and Cthulhu stuff. One of Lovecraft's disciples as an author is an author named Brian Lumley, and he wrote the Necroscope series, which is some of the most deeply disturbing, horrible taking the vampire sort of genre and taking it in as deep and dark and gruesome a direction as you can probably imagine. But he went and sort of basically took some of the tools from being a Lovecraft disciple and applied it to that genre. And then they made a game out of it. And there's a box trademarked game of the Necroscope series, which I own, and I will tell you that series the books are horrible, awesome, and the game has the potential to be that too. And then there's like all kinds of stuff. There's a game system made after Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah.
Right? So I mean, you can do anything in this genre that you want to.
Definitely. So we've decided what kind of game we want to play, and we've picked our system. now that we've all gotten together, what's the best thing that we as game masters and players can do to kind of set us all in the same mood? Other than, I mean, I'm sure you're thinking the same things I'm kind of thinking, such as lighting, sound, any kind of sound.
Oh, the set dressing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, go with that. Like, I mean,
so I think things such as just even if you don't have anything terribly fancy, like YouTube, and you just go onto YouTube and you pull up the background ambient of a thunderstorm. Sometimes that and just dimming the lights is enough to kind of help people get into that, oh, we are going out into the elements to fight evil or run from evil.
Yep.
I think you know of some pretty good good
Well,
music?
I was gonna say, I mean, in terms of sound effects and things like that, back in the day, because I'm old, you know, they used to, at Halloween time, you used to be able to go into Halloween stores or pretty much any store and buy these Halloween sound effects CDs, which had all kinds of creepy thump and bump noises. You can overdo that kind of stuff, but you can selectively do that. You know, basically just in iTunes make a playlist.
Okay.
Right? And you can put specific sound effects, because these sound effect clips are 5 or 10 seconds long. They're designed for that purpose. So if you have, and you have the attention, the interest level to sort of multitask with electronics, you can have a laptop up with iTunes playing, and or even, you know, run it on your phone if you want to.
Yep.
And play an appropriate jump scare noise at the right time that can sort of really sell it to your players. It takes a little bit of synchronization and paying attention, that may be a little bit more than what some player or GMs want to do, because it takes you out of the moment of playing, but it's there. But in terms of ambiance, like theme music or background music, I mean, something that has deep foreboding. Look, we're all creatures of subconscious, and one of the things that sets our emotional tone is music.
Yeah.
So you can absolutely grab some and pick out creepy sounds, creepy music in the background. I think you kind of want to stay away from music with lyrics.
No. Yep.
Because people start listening to the words instead of getting the tone from the background. But so anything from classical music to sort of modern, you know, trance music and all kinds of weird stuff that you can do, as long as it can sort of sit in the background, it can work. One of the ones that I like, that I have used in the past, is actually kind of a punk heavy metal hybrid. Decided to do classical. The lead singer of the Misfits, Glenn Danzig, who went off and did heavy metal music after he broke off from the Misfits, did an album called Black Aria. Now, it's not strictly an aria. For all you classical music fans, don't write me notes saying it's not really an aria. I know it's not really an aria, but that's the name of the album, so work with me here. But it's really kind of creepy, foreboding background music, and it runs kind of the whole album just itself. It all blends into one tone. So it'll go for, 45 minutes or however long the album is, and you can just let it play, or you put it on a loop and let it play all night. Or, I'm sure there's 20 other albums that would be just as good. But that's one that I've used, and it's, again, because it's instrumental, and it's moody.
Yeah,
it works really well.
I know that I like Nox Arcanum.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about us is that we have compiled a playlist on YouTube that you can go look for the link in the description, and there should be one popping up about now, where you can just go click on it, and we have a nice playlist if you want to play something creepy and some good ambience in the background. There's all different kinds of just like slow, spooky music and ambience.
And by we, Justin actually means him, because he's the technical guru here. He's created this, and I'm going to add to it. Is how this is going to work.
Yes.
But yeah, so we'll throw you guys some some suggestions and some links to sort of help pull together kind of the ideas that we're going for here. But obviously, your tastes will dictate, so you can go in a completely different direction. But sound is only one of the senses that you can please.
Yes.
So if you're really going for player buy-in, like really getting people to invest in in the experience of being in a horror game, sometimes you want some tactile.
Yes.
And I know this is one of your favorites. So.
Yes, definitely. If you want to, to really make someone feel like they're there, you got to give them a handout. Even if it's just like a simple note that someone wrote, or if you want to go crazy and do the blood-stained, tea-dyed old paper with script and it's torn to make it look like someone was beat up as they were carrying it. That, or you can just write something simple on a piece of paper and give it to someone. Even then, the fact that they are holding something and they're actively engaging in the lore of the game is very important.
Oh, well, yes, and this is not just an abstract idea. Last week, I'm playing in one of Justin's games, and he had a series of handouts like this, where like journal entries and maybe letters written from somebody to another. The one I'm talking about was specifically you did a journal entry in your game, and it's great because it puts you in the perspective of whatever that NPC or that background character was. But you can do things with the texture, like you said. You want to dye it with tea, or you. One of the ones I like is rust.
Okay.
Like if you dissolve you peel a piece of rust off of some old piece of metal and put it in some water.
Huh.
It creates some good sort of old blood.
Oh.
Rust is good for that.
That sounds good.
But yeah, there's a million different ways you can do this. But man, if you just hand somebody like that, especially something you spent, and we're not talking about a ton of time, but you spend 20 minutes prepping a handout.
Yeah.
And you deliver that at a dramatic point in the game, that people really get into that.
Yeah.
And
they'll also really appreciate that you put the time into it.
Hopefully they will.
Hopefully. So that's two of your senses. I know another one is it's hard to do taste.
Yeah, I'd be careful with that.
I don't.
I mean,
I'm not giving any examples.
A few handouts of you open a box of cookies on the table. That's one thing. But yes, you smell you taste the coppery sensation of blood in the air. Don't try for that one, guys.
No.
Just don't try for that one.
No, but lighting.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
We're visual creatures by nature, so that's absolutely a key one, and it's also one of the easiest ones.
Yep. I know you have some pretty good ideas on how to make the lighting a little bit better.
I mean, you can do it with money or you can do it with creativity.
Ooh.
Right? Like, you can go to the Halloween store this time of year and buy colored bulbs and all kinds of, like, gimmicky stuff that'll just screw into your normal lamp at home and give you the look that you want. But you can also do stuff, if you don't want to buy black light bulbs or whatever color bulbs or things like theme lighting, you can put a colored cloth over a floor lamp, and shade it will color the lighting and give it sort of like an uneven and tinged lighting. Now, obviously, be safe, guys. Don't use incandescent bulbs and flammable cloths over the top of them. Because, I mean, that bit of horror when your house catches on fire is maybe a little too much realism. But Justin had mentioned candles. They sell LED candles now.
Yep.
They sell them at Halloween. They sell them at Christmas time.
They even make ones that flicker.
Yeah. So you could totally get like by candlelight feel without any of the open flame. So yeah, that's an easy one.
Open flame and character sheets don't always mix.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing 10 candles. But I like the idea of turning off the lights in the room and maybe getting a desk lamp and just putting it at an odd angle, creating nasty jagged shadows.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, that just gets me that gets me going.
Well, if you have hanging lighting, like if you're in a dining room that has like a, not necessarily a full-on chandelier, but like a hanging light,
Yeah.
those suckers move. So reach up at a dramatic point in your story and give your lamp just a little tap, and now suddenly your lighting source is dim and moving, and shadows are dancing all over the corners of the room. Hey,
Definitely.
Again, that's drama that can work in your favor big time. It's like method acting, really.
Mhm.
I mean, so anything that you can do to sort of give that feel in the moment for your characters gives them that much, or your players gives them that much more of an advantage of being able to get in.
No, I agree.
But then there's practical stuff too. Like, if you want to help your players get in to the game and stay in the game, just common sense stuff, right? Avoiding distractions.
Yep.
Once people get immersed in the story, keep them there. Okay, that's even more important with horror games than with regular games. So, no stopping to order pizza in the middle of being devoured by nightmarish fiends, we don't want you answering texts while being possessed. It's just, it doesn't work. I mean, I guess unless you're possessed by a phone. But that's what you want to avoid. You want to keep people in the moment. You want to put people in the moment and keep them there. So, cut down on distractions. Be a little bit harder nosed with that than you would be in a normal game, because it'll really spoil things if you let them, kind of jump in and out of character.
It's only a couple hours. You can put your phone away for a little bit, or at least on silent. I think the ideas that we're throwing around are awesome. I don't want to keep going too long, because I know that some people just want to get their fix and leave.
If they were going to get bored, they would have left by now.
Yeah, well, hey, if you're still here,
Yeah.
thanks.
And what's the matter with you? No, honestly, look, guys, there's a million different ideas. Some of them are good, some of them maybe not, but we got a million of them.
Yes, that's why we're gonna make more videos.
And we're gonna put some links here to kind of give you, some practical views of some of the stuff that we've talked about.
Definitely.
And hopefully you've got some tools that you can use. Obviously, it's Halloween time, so it's perfect for that. But these things can be used year round if you're going for this kind of themed game. So.
Definitely. Who doesn't want to play a spooky Krampus game? Is Krampus a real thing?
Are you asking me? Because we should have rehearsed the answer to that question.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, so and just in general, hopefully you guys liked the audio podcast format.
Yes.
We're kind of all over the place and learning as we go here. But
Yeah, this is a very fun little experiment for us. So
maybe we'll do some more of these and try be a little more disciplined and shorter.
yes, but we had a lot to say today. So I definitely think that we'll give this another shot. Always some bite-sized bits that you can keep with you. But I think you should go enjoy your Halloween and get your gaming on, your October, what am I trying to say, Halloween game going. Jeez, it's been a long freaking day.
Cut, take two. No, yeah, obviously guys, take this stuff, discard what you don't want, grab what you do, make the most of it, enjoy. And let us know how you do in the comments. Like if you use any of this stuff, or if you have a great idea for something that we didn't think of or didn't mention. This is a community thing, so tell the other listeners, all 15 million of them, because you know how popular we are.
Yep.
Tell them your great ideas too, because it doesn't all have to come from us, right? Share it with each other.
Exactly.
And with us, and let us know what makes your games the spookiest and funnest and creepiest and most awesome.
Awesome. And
yeah.
Don't forget to game on.
Oh yes, be sure and game on. All right guys, till next time.